Ladies and gentlemen, I have some unfortunate news I need to bring you today. Something major happened in the gaming world this past week, and it's going to have a really large effect on a lot of people who have enjoyed the hobby of gaming from the time that they were very young. Yes, I am indeed referring to the fact that Microsoft has decided to make Game Pass $30 a month. So with the impending end of my 6-year-long Game Pass subscription, I decided to do something that I swore I would never do. I allowed Call of Duty to touch my PC. I know, call the police, the FBI, the fucking SCP Foundation, and the NAACP, because who the hell am I? I have been very vocal about how much I dislike Call of Duty right now. And don't get it twisted, this is not coming from someone who's never liked Call of Duty. I was playing back in the day, but over the past couple of years especially, Call of Duty has just started to feel like a Xerox of a Xerox. Just no soul, the exact same game year over year, even more so than it did back in the day. So with all that being said, I made a personal sacrifice, allowed Call of Duty to download itself on my PC, and today I tried the Black Ops 7 beta, so you don't have to. You really don't have to. So first thing we need to get out of the way here is that I, for most of my life, have been a controller player. I have never played Call of Duty on mouse and keyboard. So I went and decided to dig up my girlfriend's PS5 controller and plugged it into the PC just to see if we could get some of that muscle memory back and have some good games on Black Ops 7. And I gotta be honest with you, we did not that bad when we were playing with the controller. I wasn't doing terrible on mouse and keyboard either, but I made it a point to try out both inputs just to see how things were feeling, and they felt about exactly as you expected it to. Every year, Call of Duty's like, we're returning to form, this is a new era of Call of Duty. Yeah, we're still in the f***ing butt sliding era. We never left the butt sliding era. The butt sliding era is Call of Duty. So just talking in general about the multiplayer experience, because I played about a dozen games this morning. I got about 4 games on video, and I gotta say, this is the exact same game as Black Ops 6. Through and through, if you didn't have the pseudo Black Ops 2 coat of paint on the game, I don't think I would have even noticed a difference between Black Ops 6. The only difference I noticed between Black Ops 6 and MW3 was that you could slide backwards. And the only difference I noticed between MW3 and MW2 was f*** all. So yeah, especially since they decided that every game was going to be built on the same engine, Call of Duty has literally felt the exact same year over year for the past, I don't know, when did Modern Warfare 2019 come out? Now, this would probably be the part where I'd go into detail about the class system and how do the guns feel and how do the maps feel. They all feel the same that they always do. Like, I'm not kidding when I tell you that this game feels exactly like Black Ops 6 in every way except the paint job. And there are some parts of this paint job that I think are f***ing atrocious, but we'll get to that later, okay? So this morning I played enough games to level up my account until I got the Peacekeeper, because they are tugging at our nostalgia bait so f***ing hard with this game that they want you to use the gun that's gonna make you go,
wow, the Peacekeeper. It's just as good as I remember it all the way back in Black Ops 2. Oh my god.
Clearly, it's the best gun in the game right now, so I leveled myself up till I got the Peacekeeper, and I just used that the whole rest of the time I was playing the multiplayer. The attachments and the gunsmith and all that other shit feels exactly the same as it did in Black Ops 6, and I didn't love it then, and I still don't love it now. On top of that, there are 2 multiplayer playlists in this game for open matchmaking and for regular matchmaking, but we're going to talk about that later again in another section. Okay, but what was my actual gameplay experience like? How was it playing this brand new Call of Duty game during the beta? It felt like every other fucking Call of Duty beta. Everybody is just skidding across the ground everywhere, making sure that they leave as many ass marks as they can while they go around corners and insta-lock your fucking head. On the topic of cheaters, okay, you know me, I'm not the kind of person who's gonna toss out there everyone's cheating and blame everyone else for my skill issues. Okay, I ain't that guy. But what the fuck are some of these kills, man? Okay, I skipped most of my kill cams. I understand that desync is a really big problem in these betas, but I don't get how that is when they've basically made the same game for how many fucking years at this point. At what point do you just admit that you don't know how to run a fucking server? But no, so I tried out both of the matchmaking playlists just to see if there was any kind of difference between the two, and I gotta say, there really isn't. Both playlists felt awful, and probably the reason for that is because when you have a playlist that's dedicated to no skill-based matchmaking, okay, and I'm using the air quotes really heavy with that, because every time Activision says, we're gonna reduce skill-based matchmaking for a test, we'll see how it goes, and then we're gonna tell you that it went horribly and we're going to keep it in the game. Yeah, anytime they say they're having some kind of reduced skill-based matchmaking window, I just straight up don't fucking believe them. No. I believe they are gaslighting everyone harder than your high school shitty boyfriend did. Because let me tell you, across both of these playlists, I was getting sweated on so fucking hard that I had to take a shower right after I just took a shower. Okay, and listen, I am a shower connoisseur. I love getting nice and clean after a nice long day of sitting on my ass and not doing much of anything. But it's so fucking annoying when I am just like, okay, let me try this out. Let me have a fun time. Oh, what shit? Sorry. Oh, I didn't see you there. Oh, okay, I'll pay more attention the next time. Where are they coming from now? Okay, I strongly believe that if Call of Duty had cars, the number of drive-by shootings would go up 10,000% because that's all this fucking player base does, I swear. Look, after spending like 2 hours in the Black Ops 7 beta, I'm never gonna complain about lights in the finals again. Like, ever. My experience on controller was a lot better than my experience on mouse and keyboard. Maybe I just ain't got it in me to play COD on M&K, and that's perfectly fine because I don't think I'll be playing it much at all anyway, no matter what. But I also indulged in the zombies that they offered us because yes, they made zombies a part of the beta, and I'm using the word beta loosely because this is really just a try before you buy period. The game comes out in like 2 weeks. They're not changing anything. But I loaded into a game of farm, which I recognize is supposed to be some kind of recreation of the farm on Transit from Black Ops 2. Again, really just banking everything on nostalgia bait. And what did I find there? Did I enjoy my time? Not really. Most iterations of zombies since Cold War have had something called the Rampage Inducer. This is basically saying, zombies, you're too easy. Make it hard. Make it a challenge. Okay? And even after I turned this thing on, I did not have to run at all. I was walking, and my walking speed was faster than the zombies' rampage speed. That's a fucking problem, okay? I know that it's a beta and there's room for things to improve, but what the shit, man? So I just kind of ran around in circles as you always do with zombies, killing them for like 20 rounds or so. And then I died because I accidentally slid into a wall and didn't have enough time to slide out of that wall, and my game was over. And the biggest way that you judge how good a zombies game is when you die, do you want to go back in again? Okay, after you have grinded out playing through a game of zombies, do you want to go back in and try again? If the answer is no, I got bored and I died because I was bored, that's a fucking problem. They still have this same thing going on where they're like, yeah, no, take a fucking primary weapon in as your starting gun and just go ahead and play off that. Where's the tension? Where's the excitement? Where's the danger? There's none to be found. God, I wouldn't be surprised if they got Jeremy Irons on a fucking COD commercial to come out now and just go, if you are looking for emotional stimulation, there is none. It is quite soulless, I assure you. There are so many things about this game that make me just so glad I'm not a fucking COD fanboy. Okay, and that's the real root of this here. I want this game to be good because I want there to be competition in the FPS space. Not that I'm going to go engage in the competition, but competition is good for everyone. Okay, if COD is good and Battlefield is good and the finals is good and Halo is good, I know we have to imagine a world where Halo comes back from the depths of Infinite. You know, when all those games are good and doing good and all their player bases are happy, that is when we get the best products. Okay, but right now, the finals is it. The finals is really it. Battlefield 6 I enjoyed, okay? I did enjoy BF6, you know, and the limited amount of time I've been able to get games on Halo Infinite, I've kind of enjoyed it too, but it's nothing like what it should be. But all right, now into the defined sections, the good, the bad, the shit. How is everything doing, okay? So let's start off with the good, all right? The guns feel smooth. They always do. The guns are always the best part about playing any kind of Call of Duty game, and that hasn't changed here. Okay. The UI was nice and easy to navigate, way better than it was back in MW2, the last COD game, ironically, that I actually enjoyed. Keeping in mind that I didn't enjoy it all year either. I enjoyed it until like February, and then I'm like, all right, this shit's old now, moving on. I also really liked how the skins for the operators were kind of grounded in the theme of the game. Okay. We aren't starting out the beta with a fucking robo bus driver running around, leaving his fucking oil skid marks everywhere. So, you know, that was nice. That was definitely nice. And I imagine if I was able to group up with my friends and run this zombies, I imagine I'd have some fun with that too. Because let's face it, the only way you don't have fun playing a zombies game with friends is if you have shitty friends, okay? Good friends can make a bad zombies game fun. Now, moving on to the bad. I'm just gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. Skill-based matchmaking. Gross. Look, I get it. You have to protect the casual player base, and I'm not saying that they should be thrown into the f***ing Call of Duty Olympics. Call of Duty? No, that was weird. I'm not saying that new players should be thrown into the COD Olympics or the World Series or anything like that, but you have to f***ing chill, man. Just because I do good one game does not mean that I deserve to go to the World Cup the next game. And that is the experience you have here, okay? That was my experience regardless of what playlist I was playing, okay? These two playlists mean f*** all. You get the same people in both playlists, and they're both terrible, okay? In the multiplayer, it's very fucking clear that they want you to use either the Peacekeeper or the one gun that reminds you of the Rampart from Black Ops 2 or the M8A2. If you're not using one of those three guns or the sniper rifle for all you fucking phase wannabes out there, then you're just SOL. Also, I don't know who in the balancing department decided that a cluster grenade should be just a regular piece of equipment, but what the fuck were you thinking? The cluster grenade was a specialist equipment in Black Ops 4, okay? You didn't get one every single time you spawned in, and you couldn't just refill it from going to an assault pack. Who the hell thought that it was a good idea to just give someone one of those every single time they spawned in? Terrible, terrible fucking decision. You know what? Jail is too good for you. To the gulag. Again, the desync thing, like, you've only made the same game how many years now? At what point are you gonna get your fucking servers right? And the excuse of, it's a beta, doesn't work. It's the same game. And let's talk about the ugly, because there's a lot of ugly shit around here. So I do appreciate that they brought back health bars. I think that health bars in a first-person multiplayer game just make sense at this point in the genre's life cycle, okay? Can you tell me why all the bars in this game look like Windows XP download bars? Like seriously, did you guys look at Windows XP's UI and think, oh my god, this is fantastic. We gotta use some of this. There's a fucking reason Microsoft stopped. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess now that you're owned by Microsoft, you're trying to reuse some of their old shit to save a couple bucks. Fantastic. Too bad saving a couple bucks didn't go towards keeping Game Pass the same price, but I digress. The scoreboard has the same ugly look that it's had for the past like 5 CODs at this point, and I mean, that's just kind of nitpicking, but whatever. There were many occasions where I would aim down sight with my gun and the dot on my optic would just not appear. Like, am I just supposed to know where the dot's supposed to be on the glass? I mean, I know I should, but like, come on now. Like, this is kindergarten level shit for y'all. Like, goddamn, if I sent you home with an assignment that said draw a circle, you'd probably come back with a fucking rhombus. I did forget one thing I liked about the good part. I did like that they removed tac sprint as default. That shit should have stayed in Modern Warfare 2019 and never seen the light of day again. The fact that y'all let this continue on is atrocious. So in the zombies portion of the game, you can't turn the power on until you shoot this generator thing that apparently has a nasty case of HPV. You have to shoot all the HPV off of the generator in order to then go turn on the power. That's cool, kind of a needless step, but it's change for the sake of change, so we'll give it that. All right, back to the ugly, back to the ugly. The HUD on this game looks like they took Black Ops 3's UI and said, hey, kindergartner, will you draw this for us? And whatever they came back with, they just fucking slapped it on the screen. No offense if someone from Activision really did bring home Black Ops 3's UI, have their kindergartner draw it on a piece of paper for them, and then came back and presented it like our own idea. Congrats on you for finessing the system and for not using AI. Although you did use child labor, so I guess that's a little worse, but anywho. Also, I heard someone somewhere on the internet say that the announcer for the guild, which by the way, I think is the dumbest fucking faction that you've come up with in a long time. The only thing that's worse than the guild is my team versus the enemy team from Vanguard. Yeah, no, let's never go back to that shit. But the announcer for the guild, I heard someone somewhere say that he sounds like Howard Hamlin from Better Call Saul is just super uninterested in whatever the fuck is going on, and I couldn't agree with that more. It sounds like he's not only super uninterested, but that he's talking into one of those fucking speakers you see on the playground that you yell into, and someone that's listening to the speaker on the other end hears you from far away, and you just go,
It's like walkie-talkies.
Also, I have a pretty decent PC. Okay, I don't have the best PC in the world, okay, but I'm running a 4060 and an i7-14700F, okay? My hardware is not bad. Why the f am I chugging along at 70 to 80 FPS the whole time I'm playing this game? Okay, you refuse to stop publishing Call of Duty games for the old consoles, so why the hell am I gonna sit here and believe that you made this game run on a PS4 or a base Xbox One, but you can't make it run well on my fucking PC? Make it make sense. Make it make fucking sense. And then just on top of that too, just gonna throw one last dig out there just to make it an even, I don't know how many, I haven't been keeping count. Why the hell is the lobby screen the exact same in every single Black Ops game since Black Ops Cold War? It's always just the people walking with their guns, and it's so serious. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna invade the space. We're gonna do some Black Ops. It's gonna be lit, gang. And it's that with just some random assorted background music. What the hell is up with that? At this point, it's pretty clear that Microsoft acquiring Call of Duty was probably the worst timeline that none of us had any idea was going to be the worst timeline. And I'm just glad that I'm not a fanboy of this shit and that I'm not sitting here foaming at the mouth waiting for my chance to get my hands on COD every year anymore. So there's that. But all right, so let's go ahead and give the Black Ops 7 beta a final verdict. Did I enjoy my time with Skidmark Super Soldier Simulator 17? Would I buy Skidmark Super Soldier Simulator 17? No. Would I buy Skidmark Super Soldier Simulator 17 if it was on sale? Also, fuck no. No, the second that this video is done being made, I am uninstalling the shit out of it from my computer, and then I'm gonna take my computer to go get a bath, because I need to clean that shit after letting this thing on my PC. But anywho, that is gonna be it for my review of the Black Ops 7 multiplayer beta. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already for more content. Say what's up down in the comments and let me know. What did you think of the Skidmark Super Soldier Simulator 17 multiplayer beta? Did you like it? If so, I question your judgment, but hey, good for you. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.